Mr. Ellie Berry, and the entire WBOK listening audience. Man, what a treat, man. And I love it when our listening audience is engaged. Alvin, those people who called to get Malika's honorary, man, we want to thank the Credit Plug. We are committed to this financial restoration effort in our community. We're committed to this Buy Back the Block effort with Liberty Bank and PJ Morton, and with anyone who's trying to make sure that not only do we reinvest in our community, but we invest back in those things that have a lot to do with creating generational wealth, institutions that are putting back in our community. That effort is going to continue here on WBOK. And I'm sure, and I know that the Equity Media Group is committed to the same thing. So thank everyone who contributes here, man. And what you always got to love it when you see young people, man, who take the relationship advice, who use their life to give something back. And in the studios with a young man I've been knowing for quite some time, man, and didn't know associated with him. And he's here, Brother Rickey Wilson, man. Welcome to the Good Morning Show, man.
Thank you.
Man, first of all, I had people all over town talking about, hey, man, you got to meet, you got to talk to, then you bring Squirrel with you, man, Brother Davis, and with your young man that's like family, man, probably one of the great young athletes in our community. Good to see him doing well. Rickey, everybody's all over to, man, you got to know what Rickey Wilson's doing, man. You got to know what the Deep South Academy is doing. And I'm like, oh, man, I know him.
Right. Well, I was doing production, you didn't see some of my production. And,
Absolutely.
At the time, I took some of my production and it helped me build, my academy where it's at right now. Strengthening, putting the media out there, putting it out there, putting the word out there.
Well, before we get into that, right, who is Rickey Wilson and what is the mission of the Deep South Academy?
I'm one of them guys, man, that stayed in the East, came from nothing to something. Me and my brother went through a struggle when we was young, and I always wanted to never let a kid, young person go through what I've been through. Mm-hmm. And the academy is something that I created. It was originally Rickey Save the U Team.
Yeah. And
I sold my car, brought a van and a snack machine, and the snack machine was putting gas in the van to bring them all these different places to when they had things going on at Joe Brown Park. When it just, Nord was kind of hot, like Nord was kind of over the river over here, just trying to help the kids. And I jumped in, I said, man, there's a need. So I wound up having about at least 30 kids, man. And I don't know where they came from.
Man, they came because of the love and the care and the time.
Yeah. So I stopped and, took a break. I started this foundation, Rickey Save the U Team, in 2008. And then I sold my car in 2009 because it hadn't grew. Right. And then from there, I stopped in 2012 and started my production. And that's the
first time we met.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And once I started the production, I was working at the House of Blues, doing a little gig here and there. And these kids was just calling me. And one of them got killed. And, it was like, wow.
Yeah, that'll jolt you when it happens, especially when as a kid in a young life you've impacted and touched.
Yeah, so, it was like, wow, I could have saved his life because they always called me, so I would go out, get them out the neighborhoods, and bring them somewhere. And taking these kids places was one of the biggest keys. They never saw nothing. I mean, I brought them to Baton Rouge. They're like, oh, that Mr. Rickey,
Right. What's a Baton Rouge?
They never went canoeing. Yeah. We took these kids to City Park to the canoe. A lot of people don't understand that stuff helps.
Yes, it
does. The value of a young kid, because being a young kid is where you ain't got to worry about the rent. That'd be that life where, look, I can enjoy life. These kids at 15 years old, well, look, we need the light bill paid.
So Rickey Wilson, I got Kim Ford, man, prominent people all over saying, man, you got to talk. Man, Rickey is doing some fabulous things. When did you start the Deep South Academy?
I started the Academy in 2012.
Okay.
Well, no, 13. Mm-hmm. I started the Academy, and I just said that, I can help these kids. I can nurse them, but then what is it that with the life changing of, like I said about the rent,
right?
They're at 15 years old. Well, we need the light bill paid. You know what I mean? You talking about?
I want to stop there because there's a group of people that are numb to. They don't know. Yeah, there's some kids that are out there that are involved in making some bad decisions, but there are also kids that are conscious of when the rent's got to be paid.
Right.
What's not in the refrigerator.
Right.
Their little brothers and sisters got to eat.
Right.
And you've dealt with those kids.
Yes. And when they can't find a job, and they can't. I mean, some of them can't work because they're underage.
Right.
I mean, when you're at 13 years old,
and you ain't got nobody in the house working.
Right. What we gonna do? We need some food. I mean, I didn't been in houses where the mom was strung out on drugs.
Yeah.
The door wide open. The stenching car running from next door.
That's right.
And when you see all that stuff, that puts a shock on their life. So now they got to go out and break in cars and do all the stuff that they're doing to survive. And they're forced to do it. And it's like, where we going to get it from?
That's part of the harsh reality, especially growing up here in this town.
Yes.
That folk don't know about that you deal with.
They don't know about the stress. They don't know about the mental health. Before they closed Norwood Hospital, I had a meeting with 20 to 18 psychiatrists and they, the social workers. And they brought me in, and I'm talking to all of them. I'm like, I don't know what to say. And it's like, well, talk about what you did with the kids.
Guys, what Rickey Wilson just talked about, and he's here, we're here because of D-South Academy, one of the hottest young training academies for kids in our community right now. And so many people were buzzing about, man, getting him on the show, highlighting what he does. And here, lo and behold, I know this young man. But I want to stop there because folk don't know NOAA. That's New Orleans Adolescent Mental Health Hospital.
Yeah.
That used to be open here in New Orleans. They closed it.
Right. They closed it.
And because of the mental health that young folk used to deal with. Right?
Yes. And that gives you options.
Right.
Not to go out and kind of give your mentors. Somebody cares. It's not all about just having a hospital. I mean, right now, bring him to the hospital. He's acting up, but what we're gonna do from there?
Yeah.
I got a young man that's in my program. He wanted to commit suicide. He had a 45 to his head on Snapchat, and one of his friends saw it, and they called the police. And then the police went to the house and went in there and kind of stopped him. And I put him in the program, and I just kind of started asking him questions of why he wanted to do that.
Rickey Wilson, man, the CEO and founder of the D-South Automotive Academy, talking about making a change, one young adult, one kid at a time. How do kids get in the academy?
Well, it's kind of, I have mental health places that I'm partnering with. Okay. 5 Horse Care is one of them. They're right behind my location in Slidell. I don't have a location right now in New Orleans, but we still have, we can kind of maneuver. Right now we're trying to get some vans where we can be able to move around and make some changes.
Right.
But, it's one of the biggest problems I'm having is not all on me.
Right.
I'm trusting God, man, to be able to send people my way to be able to help me with this vision. And I feel bad that a lot of things that's happening in my city that I love, seeing a lot of young people perish. I done been to 68 funerals. How many funerals can I go to? So now I tell them, I say, look, if they're alive, I can help them.
And the academy currently operates out of Slidell. Correct?
Yeah, we're operating out of Slidell. We opened a new location in Amite, Louisiana.
Right.
We're working on that right now, and we hopefully we'll be open at February 1st.
Rickey, we want to keep it real here with you, man. Here you are, you're New Orleans boy, right? Your family out the east, Lower Ninth Ward.
Yes.
You've committed your life to this town.
Yeah.
Here you here in our community every day anyway. But you don't have a location here, man. And we talked earlier, for folk out there who are listening, right? When you see these millions of dollars that go to organizations and groups, right, that don't provide the service that you feel, it's got to frustrate you.
Yeah, kind of. I go to thinking like the young people. Like, okay, well, I want to give up sometime, but it's my passion, and it's something that, this is something that I promised to God that I was going to keep, after coming back.
Right.
Giving up on the young kids that I have helped. And when I started the academy, it kind of made them feel different because it was more, the Rickey Save the U team was from, we started from 9 years old to 15, and now we're working with 15 to 21.
Oh, let's go to the lines right now. 504-260-9265. What a blessing. Our homeboy, man, Rickey Wilson, out of Ninth Ward, New Orleans East. He's the owner and CEO and founder of the Deep South Auto Academy. Line number 1, Mr. Frank, you're on with Rickey Wilson.
Good morning, Mr. Thomas.
Good morning,
Rickey. This is Frank Johnson. How you doing?
Hey, good morning.
Man, that's one of my mentors.
Good morning, Mr.
Good. Brother, just wanted to say congratulations, Rickey. Keep up the good work, bro. You just said something, but giving up is not your DNA, Ricky.
Right.
I've seen you grow. I've seen you do some things, man, that are just extraordinary. So keep up the good work, and if we can help you, let us know.
Man, love you, brother.
Well, thank you. Mr. Frank, it's got to make you feel good. You know, we always talk about, man, what a lot of the young men and women are doing, and we forget that we have examples of people like that you've touched, like Rickey and many others, that they're doing some wonderful things. In many cases, they're doing it by themselves.
That's right. But I don't know, brothers, because you truly helped me. So
well, I appreciate that, man.
You know, you sparked my flame, and I thank you.
Well,
and we just have to continue to do that,
yes.
and we have to continue to set those trends and within ourselves.
Yes.
You know. So I just congratulate you, Ricky. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you, Frank.
Thank you.
Hey, man, you never know who's watching, right?
Yeah,
you never know who's listening.
That's another one of my mentors, man, that watch me. And when I go back and look at my pictures from years ago, you know, I was looking at Mr. Frank. And, you know,
yeah, you got a couple little more gray from the first time I met you.
Yeah. But like I said, you know, we all fall short.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, as I'm 43 years old, but we all fall short. You know, young, old, it don't matter. So, you know, the younger they are, they don't have any wisdom. They don't have options. They don't know the options that we have. But me, I have options like you. You know, lifting me up, listening to you in the morning talk, listening to your voice. You know, I get up in the morning looking for that. I look for you.
Well, I appreciate that.
And
man.
to hear your voice, it gives me energy to not want to give up.
Well, first of all, to Frank, man, thank you for the young men and women that you've touched, and for everyone out there. Rickey, this academy, all right, so we're going to put the energy out there. Hopefully at some point.
Right.
We'll get an academy here. We're going to have to go to Slidell and
It's so much. It's so much, man. It's so much, you know.
But if people do have the resources and they can travel, how do they access the academy? What do they need?
What they have to do is they have to come to one of the locations, apply. You know, we have to know what they are, where they at, with their mental.
There's an application process.
Yes. You know, their mental, and then the one in Amen, we're going to have housing. So we're going to have housing where we can kind of keep a couple of guys in for a couple of weeks. You know, kind of.
And what made you start? How did the meat connection happen? I had is, you know, you can't get a New Orleans connection, but you got a Slidell and a meat connection. How did that happen?
My brother moved out there after Katrina.
Right.
I saw this a lot. I saw this vacant place, and I'm like, man, this is a nice place. You know, I see the vision. They're like, man, that old rundown place. What we gonna do with that? And I'm like, man, I see vision in there. So, you know, opening a cafe out there. You know, I'm gonna open everything to be able to help. As far as when you go to McDonald's and you see this young lady got a nasty attitude, well, I want to help that young lady be able to talk to people because they don't have the life skills that it takes to accommodate for an angry person coming. You know, you talking to an angry person, how I'm going to deal with that angry person? You know, is I'm going to get angry too, or I'm going to allow them to make me mad? So I want to, the Amen location just gave me enough room to do my fundraisers. I do fundraisers every year to raise the money to keep us going. So I'm going out there with a whole festival.
Guys, I'm going to throw something out there in the universe right now. Kim Ford, all you prominent people that are listening, you know, the Times-Picayune does a loving cup every year where they highlight and they give these awards, and you know, and there are a lot of other organizations that highlight prominent people in the city. Well, guess what? We got a prominent person sitting in the studio with me right now. They ought to get the Loving a Cup. They ought to get the Citizenship Award in our community. It's not just the people with the prim and pristine lives, the one who have all access with all the letters behind their names and all of the public prominence. We need to start honoring some angels, right, and some soldiers like we have sitting with me here right now. So for those who are listening who monitor this show, this is the kind of folk we ought to be putting on the front line and paying homage to, because they're the ones who can change it. Now, I got that out. Line number one, Miss Ford, you're on with Rickey Wilson.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
To a New Orleans finest. Let me tell you, somebody stole my car. And they also do auto detailing and tinting out there. Rickey is one of the best in the business. Yeah. So that's where I go to have my car detail. How about I went there after they stole my car because they trashed it so bad. Went over there to have it cleaned. How about OT? They found my $5,000 wedding band in my car. And Rickey don't even know because he wasn't there. He was taking care of business in Baton Rouge. They found my $5,000 wedding band. I haven't seen it in years. I thought it was gone forever.
And they found it and got it back to you. That's right.
They found it. And
that's the type of integrity they have.
Yeah. Pulled in the car like it was a trigger. It didn't even matter. They just put it in the car. But it was so big for me and for my husband, right? I tell you, it's just the work that he does out there, the work that he's doing with our youth. We also have to support him in this business. Go ahead and let him detail your car. If you out there in Slidell,
that's right.
Go let him detail your car on Old Spanish Trail. Yeah, help him out, support him. Because, we got a treasure here, and he don't have access to all of these privileges that so many people have around here that get the accolades.
Yeah, I did my homework on his business, and I've heard that when Rickey Wilson detail and when he tints your windows, you ain't got to worry about the state police or the law coming because he does it to the level that the law says you can do it. So he doesn't put his customers in harm's way, and that's a privilege to the integrity you operate your business.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what it's about, man. And Miss Kim, I want to thank you for allowing me to even do that, with the detail. And I do so much, to try to keep these guys, keep them fed. It's hard when you don't have no money in your pocket and no resources. And that it's like that with me. But I give them faith, and I tell them, trust God. And it's more of a ministry in it as well. So, some things I can't do and some things I can do, but I appreciate it even being here on the phone and listening to my mentors around.
Let me say one more thing.
Go ahead, Kim.
You see this young man that got into this, even these kids that's breaking these windows in these cars.
I know.
It breaks my heart because I know they despair. And when you in a place where you don't think nobody cares about you, you don't care about yourself.
Right.
That's all you've ever known all your life. And I'm not getting that feeling from the people who live out there. These kids, somebody need to reach out to these babies. That's all they got to do to feel good is take something from somebody else. There's something wrong with that in our world.
No doubt about it.
So we got to find programs that stimulate all children being able to have some direction and then being able to make a living wage from a marketable skill that you teach it at that Auto Attendant Academy. Rickey, you the best, man.
Thank you.
That you can share your skills with our youth. That's everything for me. And I really want to see you be able to continue and grow this program.
It's my year here.
Yeah, we need to put him down for that love and cup.
Thank you. No doubt about it. Kim Ford.
Right, love you, Rickey. Keep
appreciate you. Love you times two. You never know who's watching.
Yeah.
You never know who's listening. Yeah, let's go to the lines, man. Line number 2, man. Brother Ronald. God bless, man. You're on with Rickey Wilson.
For having this vision to enlighten me. This is Ronald. You meant about to call you the minute when you heard the name. I called and said, man, he said, I'm going to listen to him right now, man. But once again, thank you, Oliver. We have hope in our community.
Yes,
Rickey's
we do.
Been a glimmer of hope for a long time. And one thing about the brother, the reaction and the stuff that he had with his son is not so much what he do with the other folks, but his son shared the same vision. If Rickey go in the closet, his son
my
the
son,
same thing
when we did the video.
Absolutely. Yeah.
He was right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember your son. No doubt about it. But Ronald, I want to go back to what you just said, and thank you.
Thank you.
Brother Ronald's one of the realest people God put on this earth. But Brother Ronald, you mentioned, you said, man, we do have hope in this community.
Yes.
And we do have some people who are doing some wonderful things. Sometimes we forget that, Brother Ronald.
Right, and that's why I thank you for keeping that light shining. And I wanted to touch on the subject you touched on the other day. I see, they were talking about how bad the city was. As a councilman, Oliver said, wait, hold up. If we do this can happen like this. And I close by saying this, Oliver. If only they would have listened to what you said, we wouldn't have our young folks out here with hopelessness right now.
Yeah.
And I could put my neck on it. We wouldn't have car burglaries at the rate we're having now. We wouldn't have a dropout rate. When you said in Rosenwald, said in the East, and the things you were saying what our children needed to be ready for today, we wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
Thank you again. I will keep the vision open, and just like you say, we're going to hustle our way together. We're here.
Amen.
Rickey, keep it going, bro. Your mentor about to call. I'm telling you.
Ain't no doubt about it.
I'm not going to call his name, but you know who it is. Thank you again, and keep up the good work, Alan.
So, man, how can we expand Deep South Academy? How can people invest in you? How can we get people to make sure that they're supporting this effort, man?
Anyone out there, man, you can go to First Bank and Trust under Deep South Automotive Academy, man. You can go straight to the bank. You ain't got to do anything. You can go to our website.
We really want to get a site here in New Orleans. This is how folk can help.
Well, I still have a location. I just need support. And it's hard. I mean, they got a lot of abandoned schools, man. I could do a whole lot, but it's going to take them to support me. And you know.
Now, is this a 501(c)(3)?
Yes. Nonprofit 501(c)(3). Yes. Easy. It's easy. All they got to do is show me where it's at and give me the opportunity.
Guys, let me say this. We have a lot of organizations that deal with kids that get a whole lot of money. The buzz around the Deep South Academy in this region, when you got people like Kim Ford, Ronald, Frank, and others, it is probably one of the best programs we're hearing about now operating in this region. It's unfortunate he doesn't have a spot here in the city, but I know at some point he will. I want you to slow down and tell people how can they donate, where do they go, what's the website, what's the number?
The website is Deep South Tenton Academy, deepsouthtentaacademy.org. And if you want to donate, you can cash at me, 504-508-6955. They can cash at me, and that could be tax deductible too.
And what's the First Bank and Trust?
First Bank and Trust. They can go to any First Bank and Trust and Deep South Automotive Academy and just donate from there. They got everything set up.
How long do kids, young people stay in your program?
6 months.
Wow.
And we can extend it. To be honest with you, we building the Army.
Okay.
Because if you go on our page, you'll see that they got these uniforms like the Army is blue, and we put that on. We go help the community. We go help the mayor. We go help.
So they're required not just to be in your program, but also to give back in the community.
Yes, they give back. As we build them and they mature enough, we take the same ones that we mature and we go to an unmature situation and go there and help. Giveaway, we just did the toy drive at Mint. Toy giveaway, they got their CB radios, they lined up. They got so much stuff that need to be done, you know?
So Rickey, where does the money come from, man? You've been doing this for years, right? Even before you did this, you've been giving back to kids. You've been putting your own money in.
Yes, we've been putting our own money in, and also we do fundraisers. We do car shows. You know, we do car shows once a year, and actually I'm coming out with my own festival for nonprofits. I'm doing that in Mink. So I was trying to do it here, but you know, it's so much everything focused on doing the festivals there, but they don't have any festivals that's grained to helping nonprofits. Just focus just on nonprofits, not just coming out to sell snowballs, but just acknowledging the fact that they are putting themselves out there to help. You know, to help, man.
So hopefully at some point we'll have Deep South worldwide, right?
Yeah,
nationwide.
That's my mission. Right. I'm going in every city. I promise to God that I'm going to go in every city and try. I'm going to every radio station this year, everywhere. Somebody's going to say, look, I want to be a part of it. And you know, coming here and listening to all my mentors calling in and everybody who helped me, man, you don't know, I'm charged up. I'm ready. I'm leaving here now. I got to go to Mink to talk with the council out there about the festival that we're going to have in June or July. And that's what we're leaving when we leave here.
Well, let me say this. Then I don't usually have much cause or reason to go to a meet. But Rickey Wilson in the meet.
But Hammond.
I'm coming to the meet.
That whole area.
I'm definitely coming out there. And Lord knows the need is there, man. Rickey, you promised to come back with us and share as you grow this program?
Anytime.
One more time, how can people get in touch with you?
They can get in touch with me, Deep South, deepsouthtacademy.org. They can cash at me at 504-508-6955, and that's my personal number. If you call me, if any serious inquiries about any advice on or helping me or any connections, you can text me. My email address is RickeyFWilson@gmail.com. Rickey, RICKEY, FWILSON@gmail.com.
We got a lot of programs out there that get a whole lot of money. They've been dealing with kids for years. And that a lot of people know about. They're famous, man. They have the famous organizations and nonprofits, and they have their place. And then we got organizations like Deep South Academy, where young men and women have committed to using their own resources, using their own time, and using their own hearts and souls. Let's hope at some point they get the kind of support that those big organizations that, and not to knock anybody, we love what y'all do, but we have these organizations that are not as recognized, that are making a marketable difference in changing people's lives every day. Let's start balancing our philanthropy. Let's start balancing our gifts. And let's give to the organization because you know about them every day. But let's start giving to the ones that work. Deep South Academy. This is OT and Early Bird. We'll be back after the break.